In this video, we're going to be starting a quest to 200 PMP ultra hard PMP practice questions. And in this video, we're going to be doing the first 10. I'm Andrew Ramdial, and I am the author of the world's best-selling PMP study guide, PMP Exam Prep Simplified. I'm also the creator of the world's best-selling e-learning course for it, PMP Exam Prep for the 35 PDUs. Now, before we get started, I want to just point out a couple of things. This is a video series. This is going to take about 20 videos in order to get to that 200 question mark. So we're going to be releasing a video every couple of days for the next few weeks until all 200 is done. And then we'll give you one big video that has all 200 in it. These questions are meant to be difficult and they're meant to test your mindset. If there's one thing we understand is that in order to pass the PMP exam, you must understand the PMP mindset. Now, I am the author of that mindset. I created that mindset when I wrote the study guide, PMP Exam Prep Simplified. I know there's a lot of channels, a lot of people say the mindset, guys, I created that. You can get it in my course. You can get it from my study guide. All the links are in the description below. Now, before you start this video, how about if you give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, would be greatly appreciated. That way you can be alerted when the next video in this series comes out. So let's get started with this. All right, again, we're on a quest to 200 and this is going to be questions 1 to 10. All right, here we go. Question number 1. Now, again, these questions are meant to be difficult, all right? A project manager is planning the construction of a new public library. The community and project stakeholders are having difficulty agreeing on the key features to be included in the final design. What should the project manager do? Facilitate a workshop to gather input from all stakeholders. Define the difference between essential and non-essential features. Involve design consultant to mediate stakeholder discussions. Identify the root cause of the stakeholders' inability to agree on the project scope. Now, you really have to know the mindset on this question because you can see in the question that it says the community and stakeholders. There's some kind of difficulty going on here to help identify the features. Now, if there is a problem on a project, one of your most important things to do is to ensure you understand the problem. The first thing we're going to do before we solve a problem is to identify, how did this problem come about? What's going on here? Can there be potential or multiple solutions? How did we get to this problem? These are questions you should be asking yourself. Now, there's something very unique about D. If you learn the mindset, you understand that D understands the problem. Because look, he's looking for the root cause of the problem. The problem is their inability to agree on the scope. Something about A, B, and C is telling you something. You see, they all have something in common. This is an action. You're actually going to hold a workshop. You're going to define the differences. First of all, you should never be the one choosing what's right for the project and what's wrong for the project. In this one, you're choosing between what's the essential and non-essential. That's generally your product owner, your project sponsor, your customers does that, not you. Involve design consultants. Now you're bringing in other people without even understanding the actual root cause, the main cause of the problem. So remember now, when it comes to this exam, the mindset says don't take an action unless you solve the problem, unless you understand the problem, all right? No actions without understanding the problem. Assess the situation. Okay, very good. So A, number 1, done. All right, we got 199 more to go. Question 2. A project manager convenes an emergency session with the software development team to address significant bugs that are delaying the project's delivery. The product owner suggests conducting a root cause analysis to identify the underlying issues. What should the project manager do? Collaborate with the team to discuss the RCA suggestions and decide collectively on the next step. Okay, getting the team involved. Encourage a lead developer to take charge of the RCA, fostering team autonomy. All right, letting the team work by themselves. Coordinate with the quality assurance lead to refine testing processes and based on the RCA outcome. All right, bringing more people in. Organize the session to ensure all team members contribute their insights, potential solutions. Okay, not a bad answer. You're letting everybody contribute. Okay, so let's take a look at this question now. This is an agile project. How do I know this? Because I can see it says product owner. This immediately tells me that this is an agile project. And the product owner is suggesting something that the team should be following. In a situation like this, if there's some kind of solution or somebody wants the team to do something, you have to let the team decide if they want to do it or not. Remember something. On an agile project, the team is self-leading. They're self-directing. You're not a dictator to the team as you would on a traditional project. So the best answer here is let the team decide. Work with the team to discuss the RCA suggestion and let them decide if they want to implement it or not. The rest of them is pretty much implementation. Notice, first of all, B, never do B. This is giving away your work. If it ever comes like to a point on this exam where it says, well, let somebody else deal with it while you just watch, it's never the answer. Never give away your work. Coordinate with the quality. Now you're bringing in more people and it seems like you're basically going to implement this RCA outcome. Don't do that. Organize this all team and contribute to insights and potential solutions to what? This one is a little vague. We're not sure what it's talking about. But it seems like they're coming up with their own solutions here. The question is addressing this RCA. So the best thing here is bring the RCA to them as a suggestion and say, hey, do you want to implement this or not? Let the team decide is the motto of the story here. Remember, on an agile project, the team decides how they want to do the work. The team decides what methods they're going to do the work because they're a self-leading, self-directing team. Question 3. A project manager overseeing the launch of a new e-commerce platform discovers that the finance department has concerns about not being involved in the cost estimations and their potential impact on the project returns. What should the project manager do first? Amend the stakeholder engagement plan to better integrate finance in future plans. All right. Document the exclusion of the finance team as a risk to project success. All right. Maintain the project timeline, but plan a financial review before the final phase. Okay. Organize a meeting with the finance team to understand the concerns. All right. Somewhat similar to that first question, because if you notice, the finance department, they have some kind of concern. All right. They weren't involved in whoever came up with the budgets, and they think it's going to affect what we're going to get back from the project. Notice this one particularly says, what should you do first? Again, this one has a very similar theme. All right. And a lot of these choices have a very similar theme, but one is very uniquely different. And the answer here is, of course, D. You see, if you notice, A is this, before you understand their concern, before you understand what really happened here, you're already amending the engagement plan. Don't do that. Never take an action first. Document the exclusion of the finance team as a risk to the project success. It might be. All right. It might be an exclusion, but before we even document that risk, we need to understand that risk. Maintain. Never do nothing. If you get a choice where it says maintain it, keep doing what you're doing, then that's not the answer. So the moment I say like maintain the timeline, well, the timeline could be affected by this. The best thing we should do first is let's go and meet with the team, understand their concerns. That way we have a better way of determining what action we should take next. Question number 4. As part of a project to integrate a new security feature into an online shopping platform, stakeholders have shown concerns over understanding the integration process during the planning phase. What should the project manager do to enhance stakeholders' understanding of the integration? All right, so we are integrating, we're putting something into operations, we're getting something out there. What should we do? Well, schedule a regular demonstration session during each sprint to show progress and integration steps. Sure. Arrange for the technical team to provide a detailed explanation before each sprint begins. Organize a training session to educate stakeholder technical aspects of the integration. Provide detailed documentation on the integration process prior to the start of each sprint phase. Well, if you understand the world of Agile, this one is pretty simple, because what we should be doing in every single sprint is we should be doing the sprint review meetings. And that's what this is really asking you. All right. Notice stakeholders have concern because they don't understand this integration process during the planning stage. So what should you do? Well, do regular demonstrations with them. Explain to them what the project is doing. This way, you can show the progress of what we have done and how it's working. They don't need a detailed stakeholders, especially like customers, don't want detailed documentation. They might not be able to understand it, especially if it's very technical. They don't need to be educated on the technical aspects. It's more for like your team members. Arrange for the technical team. They don't need a detailed explanation before each sprint. They just need to understand what's going on. You remember something, customers really don't care about the technical aspects of things. They care about the functionality of things. If you're building a website for me, I really am not interested in how the back end works. I don't need to know what coding language you use. I don't need to know what forms you were using or functions. All I need to know is, does it work? So keep that in mind. All right, best answer there was A. Question 5. A project manager is preparing for the sprint planning sessions for a new feature in a healthcare system. This meeting aims to determine the amount of work for the upcoming sprint. What 2 pieces of information are essential for the project manager to ensure that the meeting is productive and efficient? So, now you're doing a meeting. We know we're working on an agile project because we got this upcoming sprint. This word alone tells me sprint plan is going to be an agile project. So what are 2 essential things that we should have for our meetings? Remember, this is the sprint planning session. Remember what the sprint planning session is. What's the input to that sprint planning session? What's going to be the output of it? Best answer here is going to be, if you understand it, it's going to be, first of all, team performance metrics and a detailed product backlog. How did we get here? Well, first of all, understand what a sprint planning session is. The sprint planning session is where the team decides how much or what work they're going to do, how much and what work they're going to do in the next sprint. The output is the sprint backlog. So for them to determine what work they're going to do, they're going to need a product backlog. Generally, it should have the user stories in it by now. The next thing they're going to need is how fast they work. They're going to need that performance metrics, or what's known as the team velocity. Why do they need that? Because for them to determine how much work they can do from the product backlog, they're going to have to know how fast they do work previously, how fast they generally work, how many points they do per iteration or per sprint. They don't necessarily need an updated risk assessment. Product marketplace goal, that's more for like your sales and marketing. Current project phase timeline. The thing with agile projects is you're not going to really have like phases and timelines laid out like that. They're building it based on prioritization of the work in the product backlog. All right, this one here was choose 2. Question number 6. A project manager is leading an biotechnology research project characterized by significant ambiguity, big word there, unpredictability. A suggestion has been made to introduce a system to gauge the quality of the project outputs effectively. What hybrid technique should the project manager employ to ensure quality assurance? So key word here is basically it's what are we going to do to ensure we have good quality assurance. Combine weekly sprints with quarterly external audits to validate project standards. Quarterly external audits, huh? Merge traditional milestone reviews with agile sprint demonstrations. Okay. Adapt peer programming and customer feedback sessions. Okay. Integrate continuous integration tools with formal quality control checkpoints. Now, we have to understand that when it comes to quality, quality is meeting customers' satisfaction. High customer satisfaction, good quality product. The ultimate test of quality is a satisfied customer. So how can we do this? How can we ensure that we introduce a system that has high quality? Which one here leads to high quality? Would it be quarterly external audits? Would it be milestone reviews and sprint demonstrations? Would it be peer programming, customer feedback? Or integrate continuous integration tools with formal quality checkpoints? Best answer here, guys, is going to be peer programming and customer feedback. If you're wondering, how do you get that? Well, understand what peer programming is. So this is used in extreme programming. We do cover this in the Agile section of the course. When one guy writes the code, the other guy checking the code. If the code is consistently checked as it's being written, the code is less likely to have bugs. And the question is the customer feedback getting accepted into the project? That's customer feedback. The best way to make a customer happy with a product is to get the customer involved in the development of the product. Get feedback as you're developing the product, making this the best answer. We don't like this one here. First of all, it's quarterly, and this one doesn't involve your customer. The best way to make something really good for a customer is to get them involved. Although I like this one here with agile sprint demonstrations, the problem here is milestone reviews, and we're not sure how long those milestone reviews are. Continuous integration. This one here is not. This is integration tools, and it's not bringing customers in. Customers will give us the best way, that will tell us what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, and this is the best way in order to produce quality products. Question 7. Project managers are overseeing a software development project where the team has prioritized creating a new user authentication system in the current sprint. Midway through the sprint, 2 developers express a desire to divert their efforts to optimizing database queries, anticipating future performance bottlenecks. What should you do next? I want to point out this is a tough question, by the way. Allocate time for developers to present their optimization proposal at the next sprint planning meeting. Reinforce the importance of adhering to the sprint's primary goal of completing the authentication system. Request a special session to assess the potential impact of the database optimization on future sprints. Support the developer's initiative by allocating a small portion of their time to start preliminary work on the database. This one is a tough question. This one tests your ability to understand agile principles. And the agile principles tells us that once a sprint starts, what should you do? You should do the work in the sprint. Don't change the team. Don't change the work. When they're coming to you in a sprint and we want to do this, we want to go here, we want to go here, the best thing you can do is to keep them on track and keep them to finish the sprint goal. That's what B is, and that's what we need. Everything else is not completing the goal. Everything else is allowing them to go and do this database thing. Allocate time for developers to present their optimization at the. Now you're allocating time. That's taken away from the sprint goal. Request special session. Once again, same thing. Support it. Now, if you support it and you allocate a small time, but once again, you're making them work something that is not on the sprint goal. Once they finish the sprint, if the team feels like this is something that needs to get done, maybe it's added to the product backlog, and maybe they can do it in the next sprint. Question number 8. A project manager is overseeing the development of an enterprise resource planning system and has decided that a combination of Scrum and Kanban methodologies would be most effective. However, the product owner is unsure about how to begin optimizing and prioritizing work. What should the project manager do? Guide the product owner on developing and optimizing a comprehensive product backlog. Okay. Have team members explain the integration of Scrum and Kanban principles to the product owner to enhance understanding. All right. Recommend the project team use visual management tools to improve workflow. Teach the product owner how to map out process flows to better understand task sequences. Okay. What are we going to do here? So this one here tests your ability in the PMP exam objectives. You have to know about training people. On somebody doesn't know how to do something, don't do it for them. The mindset tells you, if somebody knows how to do something, do not make them do somebody else's role. Don't make somebody else come in and do their role. Teach them how to do their role. And the best thing here we can do is teach the product owner, hey, if you're prioritizing work, you're going to be using that product backlog. How to begin organizing and prioritizing work. It's all organizing and prioritizing work is all about in that product backlog. So work with the product owner on that. Now, have the team member explain, don't give away. This is part of your job. Notice how you're giving away the work. Recommend the team shouldn't be here. When it comes to prioritizing work, that's the product owner's job. The team should never prioritize the product backlog. Teach the product owner, I like this, to map out process flows, but this doesn't teach him about prioritizing work. Make an A the best answer. Okay, how are you guys doing so far? You guys doing okay? These questions are a little difficult. Hopefully, actually they're a lot difficult. Hopefully you guys are doing well. By the way, don't forget to click on that subscribe button. Question number 9. A project manager is leading a team on a critical marketing campaign for a major product launch. After unexpected last-minute changes, the team worked overtime to meet tight deadlines. The sponsor has allocated a monetary award to recognize the team efforts. Based on the project management practice, what is the most appropriate action for the project manager? Distribute the entire award to the team member who worked the longest hours. Organize a team building retreat to enhance morale for future projects. Use the award to fund professional development opportunities to benefit the team in future projects. Decide how to distribute the award based on informal feedback from the team. Now, this is a tough question. There's two choices here that I want you guys to eliminate right away. Distribute the award. Now you're giving away the entire award to one person. Not because you worked the longest hours doesn't mean you did the most work. When you're doing a question like this, and I'm sure you're going to get one or two like this on the test, anytime you have to create an award system, there's a couple of things to number one. There's a couple of things to keep in mind. Number one, it has to be fair. All right. And number two, it has to be public. You can't come up with a system and hide it from people. And it has to be fairly allocated. So let's see what we got. So we're going to eliminate this one here right off the bat. This is the throw out answer. Decide how to distribute based on informal feedback from the team. This is probably something you want more of a feedback. So we got two we're going to go away with. Now comes the tough one. Do we organize a team building retreat to enhance morale for future projects? Or do we use the award to fund professionals that benefit them? So which one do you think is going to benefit them more in the future? The best answer here is C. This one here is going to make them learn more and it's going to benefit them more in the future on future projects versus team building to retreat to enhance for the morale of future projects. Although it's not a bad answer, C helps future projects. Next question, number 10. A project manager is overseeing the construction of a new community recreation center, which needs to be developed quickly to meet the community's expectation. The team is skilled, stakeholders are engaged, and the community is excited about the new facility. What should the project manager do to prioritize time to completion? Assign more resources to critical tasks without consulting the team. Develop a milestone-based plan, ensuring regular stakeholder involvement and communication. Okay. Monitor daily progress in a way that integrates input from team members to ensure alignment with project goals. All right. Request an extension on the project deadline from sponsor. Okay, there's a couple of answers here. So we're building a center. We know that we have a lot of engagement, stakeholders are skilled. Everybody seems to be doing great. You got your team is skilled here. You got your stakeholders are engaged. Everybody's excited. Sounds great. But we want to finish this thing quickly. What can we do? It's a trick question. The answer here is actually B. Now, assign more resources. Never do something without consulting the team, especially if the team is doing the work. So that was a throw-out answer. There's no need to request a deadline unless you're going to go over the schedule. Those two answers are automatically eliminated. Now, monitor daily progress in a way that integrates input from the team. This is something daily is probably going to take up a lot of time. And integrates input from the team to ensure alignment with goals. Okay, but the best person to get involvement to ensure the project is correct is stakeholder engagement, stakeholder involvement. A milestone base helps to keep the project on schedule and, of course, good communication. So the key point of this question that I want you guys to understand is that in this question, and a lot of these questions we're going to be doing and we have done, notice stakeholder engagement, stakeholder involvement is the key to success on projects. It's the key to a lot of the answers as we can see here on this question. All right, guys, that concludes this video of 10 questions. Make sure to subscribe to the channel because in the next video, we got another 10 more that's going to be super complex. So let's keep on going and I'll see you in the next video.